Hello, today is February 9th. It's a Tuesday. Hopefully everybody's doing well. For self-start today, we're going to start off with some one-step equations to make sure that we understand how to do those. So one-step equations. First, make sure you draw your fence. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. So we need to get the x by itself. The opposite of adding 7 would be to subtract 7. We're going to do it to both sides. Those cancel out, and I'm left with x equals a negative 2 minus 7. That should be a 7. Negative 2 minus 7 is a negative 9. Over here, draw my fence. The inverse operation of subtracting 6 would be to add 6. And I'm left with w equals, now a negative 15 plus 6 is going to give me a negative 9. So it's the same answer as the first one. Next one, draw my fence. Now be careful with this. The negative 2 and the m are connected through multiplication because they're squished together. So the opposite would be to divide both sides by a negative 2. Don't forget your negative. And that's going to give me m equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so 16 divided by 2 gives me a positive 8. And last one, draw my fence. This is the one that students struggle with the most. So when you have x divided by negative 5, that slash means divide. The opposite is to multiply both sides by a negative 5. That's going to give me an x on this side and a negative 50 on this side. And there you go. There's your Chuck Norris facts for the day. As far as information goes, we got a lot to kind of cover. So you're down to 10 days for late work. Remember, February 19th is our deadline. That is 10 days from today. Please do not wait any longer on that. Also, from this point forward, we've been asked to take Chromebooks from students who are playing any unimproved games. So things like the Google extensions or cool math games or stuff like that. The problem is that people are playing them when they shouldn't be, so now we're having to crack down. So sorry. Next thing, if you were here last Friday for our folded white paper report cards, rather than email these out, we're going to have you guys take them home and return them back by Friday. Those people that return them back by Friday, you will get a free homework pass. If you were not here on Friday, or if you lose your paper between now and then, as long as you have a note from your parents saying that you looked at your math grades, I will accept those as well for homework pass, as long as they're back by Friday. As far as our homework competition, from this point forward, I'm not going to show you the weekly numbers. So when we end the contest next Friday, it's kind of going to be a surprise on who wins. For today, students will do the self-start. We're going to have you guys check your grades, and we're going to review two-step equations. The reason we're doing this is because next week we move into inequalities, and the process is very similar, so we want to make sure that you guys understand it. So for a two-step equation, typically we get rid of the constant or the term without a variable. So in this case, I draw my fence, and I look at this and I say, well, which one of these does not have a variable? Well, that would be the plus 2. So I need to get rid of that first, and I do that by subtracting 2 from both sides. So on this side, I'm just going to bring down my 3x, and 11 minus 2 gives me a 9. So now I get rid of the 3. The 3 and the x are squished together, so that means to multiply. So we're going to divide both sides by a 3. And that's going to give me an x equals 3 as an answer. So the things, remember, that we're looking for: draw your fence. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Make sure you do it twice on a two-step equation. And make sure to list your answer as the variable equals that answer. But what do we do if things are switched around? Like all of a sudden the variable's on this side instead of this side. I don't know if I can do that. Well, the process is still the same. Draw the fence. You want to get rid of the term that does not have a variable. So that would be over here, just like this. So that gives me a 9 on this side and a 3x on this side. So the process is still the exact same as what we just did. So there you go, and there's your answer. Now the good thing about this is if this bothers you, having the answer on this side and the variable on this side, you could always rewrite it and switch it back to something that looks like that, something you're more comfortable with. So we're just going to go through and do a couple of problems. So I have a negative 3x minus 10 equals 8. I draw my fence. I need to get rid of the term without a variable. That would be the 10. So inverse operation would be to add 10 to both sides. I have a negative 3x on this side, and I have an 18 on this side, 8 plus 10. So I'm going to divide by negative 3 because that negative 3 and that x are connected through multiplication. And I'm left with an answer of a negative 6. Uh-oh, things are switched around on this one. I don't know if I can do it. Well, let me see if I can try. I draw my fence. I get rid of the term that does not have a variable. Oh, it's that 5. So the opposite of a positive 5 would be a negative 5. So I'm going to put a negative 5 on both sides. And that's going to give me an answer of 72 over here. And it's going to give me a negative 12x on this side. Remember, that's a negative. There you go. See, just in case you missed it. So now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 12. And I'm left with an answer of a negative 6. X equals negative 6. Process is still the same. Draw my fence. Subtract 6. That gives me 1/3 x on this side and 6 on this side. Now be careful with this. The 1/3 and the x, those are connected through multiplication. So we're going to divide both sides by 1/3. Some students will look at that as 1 divided by 3, and then they'll try to times by 1/3, and that doesn't work. So I'm left with an answer of x equals 18. Okay, and a little bit of a challenge for you. Draw my fence. So we want to get rid of the term that does not have a variable. Well, here's a term. That whole thing is a term. This is a term. So now we want to get rid of the minus 8 first. So it's going to give me x plus 11 equals a negative 10. There we go. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 3. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to see if you guys can finish it on your own now. If you want some more practice, you are welcome to go to joinmyquiz.com, use this code right here, and this will get you some more practice with two-step equations. If you have any questions, contact us, email, or through Canvas, and have a great day. We'll see you soon.